So I'm joined now by Vikki Gladney from Natural Measures Cycle in Indianapolis. You're very, very welcome, Vikki. I think I have you there. You might just be on
Yes,
mute.
I'm here. Can you hear me?
I can hear and I
Yeah.
can see you perfectly. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. Thank you very much. Thank you for your time for
Thank you.
joining us. We're excited to have you and hear about your business. I am going to give a little bit of away. You opened your business in 2020, so if it wasn't in the first 3 months, you did it during a very turbulent time. So I'll set that as the foundation for our conversation and let you tell us a little bit about natural measures.
Okay. So natural measure cycling is exactly what it sounds like. I kind of model my business around the title natural measures. And it's weird how that came about. I did a final paper. I went to school late in life. I'm up in age, you guys. I'm a grandmother. And so um, I did a paper about that in like 2017. And I used natural measures as a base for an economics uh, class. I don't know what it was about. And just kind of tucked it away. Didn't know that this was going to circumvent back to 2020. I worked corporately. I've been an executive assistant to presidents, vice presidents of high-end companies. And so I was working corporately, but I also was teaching in a YMCA locally, spin. And I walked into a spin class as a student in 2018. And a year later, I was teaching that same class that I walked in. That's how much I loved it. It was like, it turned into my life. So I had that experience where not only did you fall in love with the fitness part of it or what it was doing for you, you fell in love with the vibe, you fell in love with the instructor, you fell in love with the people in the class. And then my husband was nudging me for like the next year, like, hey, you could, well, you could teach the class. And then I ended up teaching the class. And he's like, he's a self-employed entrepreneur. And he's like, you could own that business. And I'm just like, whatever. But things during COVID got very stressful for me from a corporate end. And I actually suffered, I did get sick, but I also suffered some anxiety, just everything that was going on in the world, not just with COVID, but just with uh, politics and race wars. It just got so dark for me, mentally and physically. And I knew that wasn't right for me. That's not who I am. That's not who my spirit involves. And so one thing led to another. We found some bikes, and I had those bikes in my garage for like a couple of months. I met the right partners. I met up with the right resources. Um, I called my local small business development center, and they, I applied and got into the program. So they are part business coaches with me too. And so I had that support, and I was able to really just by grace, and I bootstrapped this myself. So yeah, it was an awkward time. I don't know how many people thought, not only did I leave my corporate job, but I started this during a pandemic, and everybody thought I was crazy. But here we are, probably a little crazy. And it's been crazy successful considering that October will be the first year. Like we have not finished the first year. And it kind of gives me chills because it's been a major blessing.
Wow. Okay. So very, very, very hectic year, and thank you for sharing that story because I know there was a personal element to that as well. So appreciate you sharing that.
Yes.
In terms of like the business, so you opened in October. Am I safe to assume that you've always been in studio? You haven't had to go online and come back. You've been fortunate enough to stay actually in the physical space.
So I do have an online presence or a virtual presence. It's very small right now. We are really just getting to the place where we're starting to ramp that up or rethink that, I would say rebrand that part because we're really just getting started with that. I do have a handful of virtual clients, but yes, I've been able to do this all in studio. We closed for in November. So after we opened, I think we closed from Thanksgiving to like the beginning of going into December. So I think I opened back up January 2021. So we did close to make sure that we were following guidelines. And I think that there were some people in our population that had gotten ill. And so with good conscience, we closed down, and then we reopened. But it was like people were like waiting. It surprises me. It still surprises me. They were waiting to knock down the door, to come back, and then they brought people with them. At the time, I wasn't even ready for that. But yeah.
Well, that's a great complaint to have, that they're ready and waiting to get back into gym when you reopen your doors. And from speaking to other business owners, like the first few years are always, let's just get it done. So, as you said, you had the bikes, let's just get people on those bikes, open the doors, and you learn as you go, and you really just try and like get into the motion and get the business up and running. So now that you more or less have the first year behind you, for the next 6 months to 12 months, what do you see yourself focusing on?
Well, we continue to polish the brand. I didn't go really head in and like get the people on the bikes. Held onto the bikes for a while. Nobody knew that this was in development, and so I was just talking to my team. So I don't have employees. I have 4 contract instructors, and so we were talking, and I was like, you guys are discovering there's like 4 or 5 phases to me. Like I go from, yay, this is great, to, oh, this is awful, to I need it perfect, to I don't care. So like they find me somewhere.
All 4 seasons of the
Right,
day.
right. I go through this thing. And so that's kind of where it was to launching the business. It was like, I got to see this perfect. And at some point, it did transfer into you got to let it go, and you got to try it, because the only way that you're going to know what to do is to do it. So then once we took that leap of faith and got started, now we are in that momentum of repolishing the brand, or polishing the brand. And then I introduced a second modality of fitness, because we do a different style of cycling. It's not quite like Soul Cycle or traditional cycle. I'm actually trademarking, and that's another thing with the resources. The University of Notre Dame picked up my business, and they are doing all my pro bono legal work. And so they are doing the trademarking. So those applications are in. I don't think that we are advanced enough to trademark the style, but we're working on that. And so we have a whole vibe. So I moved from that to trampoline fitness. So to answer your question, then in the next few months, actually this Sunday, I have a huge trampoline event. We're getting more involved with events to pull people together in larger spaces. One, so they can draw in and see what we're doing. I had a new customer come in yesterday that had never worked out with us, and she was like, your name is everywhere. Like, your name is everywhere, and everybody knows who you are. And it's very humbling, but it's also exciting and exhilarating to know that the word is getting out, because I have a small boutique that we even knocked down my office in February. We had to knock down the walls of my office to create more space for customers and for them to have that complete experience. But now we're focusing on the trampoline fitness along with the cycling, and we're watching, again, not only the community grow, the camaraderie grow, the friendships and relationships, but also the bodies are changing. So they still come for that, right? They still come to cinch their waist and lose those pounds. And so that's calling me to get a little bit more deliberate and intentional about meal plans, membership packages. What does that include? Not just the fitness part of it. So I've had to do my research and study too in some areas. So that's pretty much what we're doing to move forward, honing in those two modalities, and also doing a lot of learning and research. And then of course we added the 4 new coaches, which were people that I handpicked and they mentored under me. So they're a part of the family.
Wow, and I think one thing we learned from the previous conversation is just that your employees are everything. They're an extension of your brand, your service, and really what you want to deliver is in their hands. So just so incredibly important that you've
Yes.
handpicked them and mentored them and just got them to be able to offer what it is that you want to offer your students and your clients. In terms of how Glowfox has helped you in this last year, you might speak a little bit about that, and then I'll leave the floor open to some questions to finish.
Absolutely. So again, different than some of the people that I listen to, and I'm so humbled because I'm listening to these veterans in the industry and people who have been doing this a long time and across different brands and modalities. It's just mind blowing that you guys asked me to be a part of this. But Glowfox, we went in head first with Glowfox. So we looked into a few other options. And when I say we, I had, again, that resource. The Heiko Solutions takes care of my web presence and my social presence. Well, really not my social presence, but, my internet presence, my web presence. And we just built, momentum together. So we're kind of a pair when it comes to building this brand, because his name is on it, my face is on it. And so we married, his knowledge, my experience, and that's how we came across you guys. So he did the research, and then once we sat down and looked at our options, we knew that this was the best way to go. He knew what I was expecting as far as building out my webpage, what I was expecting as far as in a customer experience. You guys, I am in a very small local area. As a matter of fact, my business sits in a food desert area where there's low income to middle income families, or even, on the crux of upper, like there's a blend of everyone. And it's bittersweet for me because yes, I'm in a food desert and where there's low access to physical fitness, affordable physical fitness. Around me, you can go to any LA Fitness, you can go to any Planet Fitness or anything like that. But I'm in the middle of an industry area. Like, it seems like I'm hard to find, but everybody seems to find me, which is a blessing. But what it does for me, it allows me to create a presence in an area that there is none, and create accessible fitness and conversations about self-care and that kind of thing. So it's a draw. It's a huge draw. So what we did, I knew that I wanted the experience from beginning to end for every customer to be polished, to be easy for them. And then because I'm a sole proprietor, at the time I didn't have the 4 coaches. I'm still the admin. I'm still the do-all girl. And I knew that Glowfox was going to help me develop my brand, develop my presence, but then also make it easy for me to manage administratively, and then also help my customers through this process, and then stand out too, because again, being in the area that there's no one like me doing this to this magnitude. It was an investment, and definitely quickly considered, but I knew what I wanted to do, and everybody appreciates that. It makes me, it doesn't make me stand out. There's no other way to put it.
Well, Vikki, I'm already looking forward to our conversation this time next year, and we can just see everything that's coming in the next 12 months. So we do have to wrap up. We're a little bit over on time. Sorry, Kevin. But I really appreciate you coming on and sharing your story, and wish you nothing but the best of luck, and congratulations again on the last 12 months.
You guys, thank you for having me. It's been amazing.
Thanks, Vikki.
Kevin, over to you.